So, have you ever wished you could have a super powerful AI research assistant, kind of like Google's Notebook LM, but one that was totally private, completely under your control, and didn't come with a monthly bill? Well, today, that's exactly what we're diving into. We're laying out the full blueprint to build our own personal AI engine, one that's designed to turn all your documents, research, and big ideas into really compelling, dynamic presentations.
Okay, so let's get right to it. The choice you're making here is really a tale of two completely different worlds. On one side, you have the cloud services. You know the deal, recurring monthly fees, and your data is often getting scanned and used to train their models. But on the other side, you've got the local model. Yeah, there's a one-time hardware cost, but in return, you get absolute, complete privacy and just unlimited creative freedom.
So here's the game plan for today. First, we're going to talk about why you'd even want to move beyond the subscription model. Then we'll pull back the curtain on the core architecture of your private AI. After that, we'll break it down into 4 key pieces, give you a step-by-step roadmap to build it, and finally, show you how to go from raw data to, well, genuine art.
Let's kick things off with the big why. You know, this is about so much more than just the tech. It's really about taking ownership of your most valuable stuff, your data, and your entire creative process.
And you know what? The financial side of this is actually pretty amazing. That number you're looking at, 2 to 3 months, that's roughly how long it takes for the hardware investment to literally pay for itself when you compare it to a premium subscription. Based on the source's breakdown, after that break-even point, you're basically running your own AI powerhouse for just the cost of electricity.
All right, let's pop the hood and get into the technical heart of this thing. This is where we lay out the blueprint for the entire system, how all the different pieces are designed to fit together perfectly to create your personal content engine.
Now, I know this might look a little complicated at first glance, but the idea behind it is brilliantly simple. The whole setup runs on a platform called Proxmox, which is totally free and open source, and it's split into 4 specialized virtual machines, or VMs. Just think of them as 4 expert workers on an assembly line, each with one specific job. This modular design is the secret sauce here, because separating the tasks makes the whole system way more powerful, stable, and honestly, a lot easier to upgrade down the road.
So let's deconstruct that machine. We're going to zoom in on that architecture diagram and look at each of those 4 VMs one by one so you can really understand the critical role each one plays in this digital production line.
First up is the document processing VM. This is your intake station. Its only job is to grab all your source material, like using an AI called Whisper to transcribe audio files or PyMU PDF to pull text from documents. It cleans everything up, chops it into manageable pieces, and basically gets it all ready for the AI brain to understand.
Next, we get to the brain of the entire operation, the LLM Inference VM. And inference is really just the fancy term for the AI model doing its thinking and generating new text. This VM is the master artisan. It's where powerful models like Llama 3.1 live, and this is super important, it gets direct access to a dedicated GPU to do all the heavy lifting of analysis and script generation.
And this is what's so cool. You've got options. Depending on your hardware and what you need to do, you can go for a balanced model like Llama 3.18b for everyday tasks, or you could jump to a high-performance model like the 70B version for really deep, complex reasoning. There are even specialized, super efficient models like Phi 3. The power to choose is literally in your hands.
Okay, so once your script is written, it gets sent over to the audio generation VM. This is basically your own private digital voiceover booth. Using these incredible text-to-speech engines like XTTS, you can actually clone your own voice from just a few seconds of audio to narrate your presentations. Or you can use something like Bark to generate a bunch of different expressive voices for a full-on discussion. It's amazing. And finally, you've got the Orchestration VM. This is the project manager, the central nervous system that runs the whole show. It hosts the web interface that you actually use, and it runs something called a FastAPI backend, which is pretty much the digital plumbing that handles all the requests and tells the other VMs what to do and when to do it.
So, we know all the components now. But how do you actually build this thing? Well, let's move on to the roadmap and see how this pretty ambitious project gets broken down into a structured and totally achievable plan.
The source material lays out this really clear 12-week plan. You start with the basic infrastructure in the first couple of weeks, then you plug in the large language model, followed by the audio and video systems. That final month is all about polishing it up and adding production-level features. It really transforms a huge idea into a series of manageable, bite-sized steps.
Now for my favorite part. We've built the engine, so let's talk about what we can actually create with it.
This is where we go way beyond simple questions and answers and into the world of true content creation.
So you've got all this hardware and software working together. But what does that creative process actually look like from your perspective? How do we get from a simple question about your documents to a fully finished, narrated piece of content?
It all comes down to this really slick, automated pipeline. When you ask a question, the system first does what's called a vector search. It's a super smart way of looking for concepts and ideas in your documents, not just keywords. The LLM then uses those facts to write a script. That script gets sent to the text-to-speech engine to create the audio. And then finally, the video pipeline puts all the visuals together. It's a seamless factory for turning knowledge into content.
And this is where it really becomes a creative partner. You're not just getting summaries. You can create multi-speaker podcasts. You can simulate a 2- or 3-person debate on any topic from your research, or even automatically structure an entire educational course. This thing becomes a powerful tool for digital art and instruction, not just a simple notebook.
And through this whole creative process, we have to remember the core promise, the whole reason for building this in the first place: your data, your rules. All the processing happens on your machine. No external API calls are sending your private research out to the cloud. Your documents, your models, they're encrypted. And you have full control over who gets to access the system. It is security by its very design.
So we'll leave you with this thought. This isn't just about building a tool. It's about building an extension of your own mind. What would you create? What insights could you uncover if you actually owned the entire engine that transforms your raw research into compelling, shareable art?